Right, in this video we are going to look at using Dreamweaver CS6 to build some simple HTML pages for your interactive media assignment, which is looking at examples of interactive media. So to start off, you needed to create a site definition, which you should have already done and already created a folder structure, but just to reiterate this, I have created a folder structure which starts with htdocs, which stands for HTML documents. All of our HTML files will live in there. Within that we've got a folder called CSS. Any CSS files will live in there. Images, where our images will live, and JS, where we may put some JavaScript if we use them. So I've opened up Dreamweaver CS6, and now I'm going to create a new Dreamweaver site and link that up to those folders. So I'll just call this L1 Media for this example, and navigate to those folders I've just created. There we go, so select htdocs, that's the main folder, select that, and now I've got Dreamweaver pointing to that area. I'll create files inside of those folders using it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create a basic HTML document by clicking Create New HTML. And I'm going to save this one and call it Spotify, because that's the example that I'm creating, and this lives in htdocs because it's a HTML document. It should by default put that extension on the end of the file name when I've created it. So click Save, go across to the right hand side of the screen into the file inspector, and you'll see that Spotify HTML has been added to that list, so that file now exists. And in our current view we have a blank page, so this right hand window is the design view. It's what we would see in the browser, approximately at least, and on the left hand side we've got the HTML which accompanies that. So I'm going to work predominantly in the design view, or I need to make sure that I have some distinct sections, and they are primary and secondary functions, features, and responding to input. And so, for example, in responding to input, I've been looking at some of the different ways that Spotify signifies or shows that someone has clicked on something or hovered over something, or even when it's playing a song, perhaps it gives out visual information such as the time and position in that song as it's playing. I'm then going to copy and paste all of this into Dreamweaver in Spotify HTML to start off with. And there we go. So it's picked this up as bold text because I've made it stronger than previous. I'm also going to put some text in at the start, which can be an overarching title for all of my reports. So I'm going to put investigate interactive media, colon, and then the name of the example, so Spotify in this case. I might into title, and then I'm going to save that for a second. And we'll just quickly have a look at what it looks like in a browser. And there we go, it's just some text at the moment, maybe nothing too impressive. So then going back to Dreamweaver, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these into headings. So the most important heading is the first one in the page, and that's given the H1 tag. So I go to the bottom of the screen, properties, I've highlighted it, format, heading 1. That becomes the most important heading of the page, and all subsequent ones in this case are going to be heading 2. And I see there that's affected the text beyond. Again here, heading 2, it's done the same. heading 2. And so this suggests that there is something wrong with the words that we've copied and pasted. So now I'm going to look in split view, because I don't want everything to appear in heading 2. And we'll see, I just separate this out a little bit. That shows me in the split mode whereabouts I am. So H1 surrounds that bit of text, H2, but H2 starts before the bit that says primary and secondary functions, and it does not end until this point here. And the reason for that is because of the line break that was put in rather than a paragraph. So if I just put a return in here, and then I'll remove the break on the heading 2 from this example here, which is going to need to be replaced with the paragraph tag, which is P and closed with /P, like this, /. Now to make that a little bit easier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off heading at this point and then make the amendments in the design window. So this is now just set to paragraph. If I put a return in by pressing the return key here and here, and then highlight that and change it to heading 2, and the same with features to heading 2. I'll notice also in the code window there's still this tag here which says BR, which stands for line break, and I don't want a line break there already because we've created a paragraph, and that by default already has one of those. If I'm going to be strict, I'll get rid of these tags that say strong because we don't need them. As we were making a heading is by default stronger or bolder in weight than normal body text. Okay, so let's just get rid of those bits. And you might find you have a similar issue if you copy and paste formatted text from Word. Okay, so that's how it should look at this point. Before I check anything, I need to save that file, and then I'll go preview it in Chrome again. So there's the difference at this point in time. There we go. So what I'm going to do then is create an image. You need to create some images for use in this website, and in Q15 Fireworks is the best piece of software for that due to some issues with Photoshop. So I'm going to visit Spotify. The URL for that is play.spotify.com. So it takes you into the player and it will ask you to log in. Okay, and so once I'm logged in, I can see how Spotify works. Just a quick rundown. You notice that some of the icons, when I roll over them, highlight. They go slightly lighter, and there is the hand cursor. So usually you've got an arrow cursor when you're moving around the page. When you hover over, it's hyperlink. So these are all links too. And we have some buttons here. That's how the button outline there goes green. This one goes white. Responds with a drop down menu. If I click off, it disappears. If I click play, and that would respond by opening up some music in the player over to the right hand side. Okay, so I'm going to draw some attention to this page by creating a screenshot. And a piece of software that's built into Windows to do this is called The tool to do this is called Snipping Tool, which you can find in Accessories. So Accessories, Snipping Tool. Let's go for that again. Or you can type Snipping Tool in the search bar. All Programs, Accessories, Snipping Tool. And this allows me to create a specific size do that here. There we go. So that's drawn attention, or will be used to draw attention in my website. So I'm going to save that file. You've got a choice of the type of file you're going to use. I'm going to find my folder. There we go. HC Docs. Let's make this a little bit smaller. So that will live in images, and I will just call that Spotify 1. Save. I'll close that down. And now I'm going to open it in Fireworks, which you'll find in Master Collection CS6. Now Fireworks is deliberately built to work with web graphics, so it should really be the choice that we make. It's dedicated to building up PNGs mainly, which is its native file format. Okay. So I'm going to create a new Fireworks document. This Fireworks document is going to have the same width as I'd like my page to be, so I will say 1200 pixels or 1000 pixels. I don't want it to be particularly high or tall because it's going to be a banner image. Click OK. Don't need to worry about the canvas colour, because when I import the file that I'm working with, it will fill that area. So I import that, and it will position it for me. That's how it's slightly longer. The page that I've created. There we go. And then I'm going to save that as Spotify 1 underscore 1200. So I know that it's the 1200 width version. Then click Save, and you would go through that to create more. Let's close that off. Go back to Dreamweaver. You should see in the file inspector that those images exist now. So I'm going to put my image after my main heading. So I'll put a line return in by pressing the return key, and then going to insert the image. And there's a few ways you can do this. It's into the code and click OK. You can actually create very long descriptions for more interesting images that have more in them, and this is known as accessibility, so it's making it accessible to people who can't necessarily see those images by giving them a long written description that a screen reader would say out to them. So I'll click OK for now. In goes the image. Save this file. And there we go. Just double check that in the browser by refreshing the page. And there we go. It's quite straightforward at the moment. It's got no real style on it. But I'm going to stop there, and in the next video I'll show you how to style that up so that it's a little bit more visually appealing. Okay.